Why are dealers desperate to sell certain cars in 2025? From luxury SUVs that ride like a rough night out to compact crossovers that leave you yawning, we've got the top 20 cars dealers are pushing hard to sell. Stick around to see which ones make the cut and why. 20. Alfa Romeo Giulia. Be glad Alfa Romeo Giulia isn't a person, because if it was, it'd be that painfully gorgeous friend who's always late, is incredibly complicated, and somehow still gets away with everything because of how charming they look. But when it comes to car buyers, charm isn't going to be convincing enough, especially when it comes to the side of reliability rumors. It's Italian. And subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos about cars and much more. If there's one thing we know about Italian cars, it's that they come with a whole bunch of quirks. Owners of Giulias probably spend as much time at the service center as they do with their cars on the road. So it's not a surprise that not many consumers wouldn't want to take the risk. And speaking of risks, you might want to check out what we had to say about the BMW X2. Let's just say, style might come at a cost you didn't bargain for. 19. Infiniti Q50. The Infiniti Q50 comes with a 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6 engine and a cozy interior, but that's where the excitement ends. Stuck in 2013, this sedan hasn't evolved at all, much like your least tech-savvy relative. With only 200 sales out of 3,200 units, it's clear no one wants yesterday's news. Infiniti's solution? Pull the plug by 2024 and pivot to SUVs. Sure, dealers might toss in a couple discounts, but resale value screams bad investment. The Q50 isn't just outdated, it's running on borrowed time. 18. GMC Terrain. One thing to relate. The GMC Terrain 2 would be the box of store-brand cereal sitting on the bottom shelf at the supermarket. We all know it's there, and yes, it would make a decent breakfast meal. But let's be honest here, no one's all that excited about it. In a world with some of the most popular and compact SUVs, like the Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, and Mazda CX-50, the Terrain stands out for being nothing more than average. And we don't even mean the charming underdog kind of average. No, this is the not-so-inspiring kind, like the "did we really need to make this?" kind of average. Let's get into a little more detail about that push-button gear selector, shall we? Whoever thought this was going to be a good idea? It's neither intuitive nor fun. It's like solving a puzzle just to shift into drive. Put that all together with lackluster performance, unimpressive interior quality, and the fact that it's older than most of its competitors, and you have a recipe for absolute mediocrity. 17. Ford Edge. The Ford Edge was once a family-friendly SUV, but now it's a glorified parking lot furnishing. With 4,500 unsold units and designs stuck in the past, it's a hard sell at $38,000. Add in recalls and a lawsuit over faulty engines, and the Edge looks more like a liability than a lifesaver. Ford's dropping it after 2023, leaving buyers wondering if it's worth the risk. Spoiler, it's not. Time to edge out of the spotlight, Ford. 16. BMW X2. Ah, this beauty here, the BMW X2, is a ride that's perfect for people who wouldn't think twice about style mattering more than comfort. This subcompact luxury SUV has a very sleek appearance, drives pretty decently, and will probably make your neighbors think, "Whoa, this guy's totally made it." But let's say you're to take one ride over a pothole. That, my friends, is when you'll be rethinking all your decisions. The X2's ride is about as forgiving as a hangover after a tequila bender. And if you've been through that, you know what we're talking about. It's stiff and jarring, and ensures that even the smallest road imperfections become a full-body experience. Let's make matters a little worse. The cabin isn't even particularly insulated, so you'll also be treated to the beautiful noises of road rage every time you drive. Then there's the practicality lack thereof. The X2 even goes on to sacrifice cargo space and rear seat comfort for its wonderfully sloping roofline, because apparently, looking good in the driveway is supposedly the bigger priority than being useful. And don't even let me begin talking about the price. Sure, dealers might throw in a bit of a discount, but when you're paying luxury prices, shouldn't you feel, luxurious about it too? 15. Chevrolet Malibu, fading fast. The Malibu's fuel efficiency and $27,000 price tag can't mask its irrelevance. Once a sedan staple, It now fights so hard against SUVs and recalls. Rough transmissions, outdated design, and desperate discounts show this car is on its last legs. With sales in freefall, dealerships are stuck with excess stock they can't move. The Malibu's fate mirrors the midsize sedan's broader decline. It's being crushed under the wheels of the SUV revolution. 14. Mini Countryman. The Mini Countryman is proof that bigger isn't always better. Here's the irony. It's the largest Mini on the market, but instead of being an impressive evolution, it's more like the awkward cousin at a family reunion. You know, the one who tries to fit in but fails so miserably. Poor guy. Let's start with the engine. The base model comes with a turbocharged 3-cylinder that produces 134 horsepower. To put that in simple words, it's so slow a turtle with a Red Bull would probably outpace it. Of course, you can upgrade to a more fierce engine, but by the time you're done ticking all the options boxes, you could have just bought a better car. You'd be spending more on making it better. The amount you're saving isn't much at all. And then there's the handling, or should I say, lack of handling. Unlike its puny, smaller siblings, the Countryman feels like it's dragging its feet. It's not even as fun to drive as a Mini should be, and neither is it particularly spacious compared to other SUVs in its class. 13. Nissan Maxima. The Maxima's 300 horsepower V6 engine and luxurious interior just can't save it from extinction. Outdated design and zero hybrid options make it obsolete, and with 3,800 units unsold, buyers are steering clear. Discontinued after 2023, the Maxima's fate highlights the shrinking demand for sedans. Nissan's flagship feels more like a relic, outpaced by rivals and hybrids. Dealers are stuck holding the bag, and the buyers have already moved on to greener and more electric pastures. 12. Jaguar F-Type. Now we meet none other than the Jaguar F-Type. This one sure did have its time to peak, but now it's just not given much regard at all, and it has its reasons too. Let's go back to when it first hit the market. It was fresh and new and exciting, and let's not forget, undeniably cool. Now, let's just say it's starting to show its age, not so much like fine wine. Don't get the wrong idea when we say this. The F-Type still looks great, and its V8 engine is an absolute riot. But looks and sound can only get you so far when your competition includes the Corvette and Porsche 718. These newer sports cars are so much sharper, faster, and better value for money, leaving the F-Type to cling to its former glory. 11. Jeep Cherokee, losing its trail. Once a rugged icon, the Cherokee now sits not even remembered, with 6,000 units unsold and barely 400 moved. Its dated design and scarcer hybrid options make it nothing more than a relic in today's EV-driven market. Internal competition from Jeep's own Grand Cherokee and Compass isn't helping either. Consumers have left this gas guzzler to the dust, and Jeep's profits agree too. It's time to retire this automobile dinosaur. The Cherokee is off-road ready, but off the market soon. 10. BMW X7. The BMW X7 is what forms when someone gets the idea to make a luxury SUV as bloated and over-the-top as possible. Don't get the idea twisted when we say this. It sure is an engineering delight. That is, if you like your cars the size of a small apartment. But let's talk about why this 3-row giant is only collecting dust on dealer lots instead of being sold. First off, the price tag. Sure, it comes with air suspension, a massive curved touchscreen, and an interior that feels like it was plucked straight from a 5-star hotel, which are all great. But all that luxury could cost you a fortune, and with competitors like the Mercedes-Benz GLS and Audi Q7 offering the same kind of features at a much better value, the X7 starts to look like an overpriced ego boost, which of course no one could care for. Let's not forget the driving experience. Yes, it's smooth, but piloting the X7 feels less like driving and more like steering a yacht through rush hour. And while it boasts up to 630 horsepower in Alpina trim, all that power doesn't make it any less, it just makes it fast in a straight line. 9. Chrysler 300, out of time. The Chrysler 300 clings to its V8 engine and bold design like it's 2005, but buyers aren't impressed one bit. With 2,500 units sitting unsold and only 150 sold recently, its days are numbered. At $33,545, it offers decent luxury but zero innovation. Chrysler's decision to exit after 2024 confirms what we already knew. The 300's outdated charm has lost its allure. In a world demanding modern tech and efficiency, this grandpa sedan can't keep up. 8. Audi A4. The Audi A4 sure is an overachiever who also peaked a few years ago and now spends every single day thinking about the good old days. Sure, it's still one of the best compact luxury sedans on the market, but with newer options like the Genesis G70 and BMW 3 Series stealing the limelight, the A4 is going through quite the struggle to stay relevant. We're not saying the A4 doesn't have its own specialties. The A4 is refined, comfortable, and totally loaded with tech. Its sharp cabin design and high-end finishes can still make you feel like a total big shot. But let's address the elephant in the showroom. It's been around for way too long without a major update. Consumers are starting to notice, and the once dominant A4 is now playing second to its flashier and cooler rivals. 7. Jeep Compass. The Jeep Compass has been directionless since 2007, and it shows. With 7,000 unsold units and only 500 moved, its outdated design and meh engine don't stand a chance. Starting at $27,825, it's a mediocre offering in a market demanding innovation. Jeep's decision to discontinue it after 2024 says it all. The Compass is more antique than adventure. In an EV world, it's a gas-powered relic still searching for a path forward. 6. Buick Encore GX. The Buick Encore GX is Buick's attempt to tempt the younger buyers, and boy is it working at tempting people. And by that here we mean anyone under 65. On paper, it's a semi-premium small crossover with comfortable seating, a quiet cabin, and just enough tech to keep your grandparents from constantly complaining. But in reality, it's the automobile equivalent of plain oatmeal. Let's talk about that engine lineup. The base model comes with a turbocharged 3-cylinder that feels like it's powered by nothing more than sheer determination. The optional 1.3-liter turbo engine is better, well, marginally better, but it's still about as exciting as watching grass grow. And while the Encore GX tries to position itself as more upscale than its competitors, the interior materials scream, "This doable, I guess." Buick markets the Encore GX as one of the best commuter cars out there, which is true if your idea of an adrenaline rush is counting stoplights. 5. Chrysler Voyager. The Voyager's 3.6-liter V6 engine and spacious interior feel less nostalgic and more outdated. Priced at $41,600, it's clunky compared to hybrids and SUVs dominating the market. With only 50 units sold out of 1,000, dealers are stuck holding stock that could take years to clear. Families have moved on to sleeker, greener options, leaving this minivan to fade into irrelevance. Chrysler hoped nostalgia would sell, but the Voyager's time is clearly past. 4. GMC Yukon. Our big bulky buddy here, who's theoretically useful, but not exactly what you'd call fun. It's perfect if you need to haul a large family, a boat, or maybe even a small country. But let's face it, most buyers don't actually need this much SUV. With V8 engines that guzzle gas faster than you can say inflation, the Yukon is a very tough sell in today's economy. And while it offers a good amount of space and luxury features, so do its competitors, don't they? The Chevy Tahoe and Ford Expedition, and even at a lower price point. So why is it sitting on dealer lots is not even a surprise. It's pretty simple actually. People are realizing that a Yukon isn't just an SUV, it's a commitment. A commitment to a bunch of parking malfunctions, wallet-emptying fuel bills, and the constant fear of hitting curbs. Sure, it's great for the few folks who genuinely need all that towing power and cargo space. But for everyone else, it's nothing better than overkill. 3. Audi A3. The Audi A3's premium materials and sleek design can't hide its shrinking relevance. With 4,000 unsold units, buyers are ditching this $38,600 compact sedan for SUVs that offer more space and value. Even with hybrid options, the A3 feels like a half-hearted attempt at staying competitive. In a world obsessed with crossovers, the A3 is the forgotten middle child of the luxury lineup. Time to move on, Audi. 2. BMW iX. The BMW iX. The electric SUV that looks like it was designed by someone who lost a bet. With its polarizing grille and quirky styling, the iX is proof that beauty really is in the eye of the beholder. Unfortunately for BMW, most people don't seem to be actually beholding it. Let's be very fair here. The iX is a technological marvel. It boasts a long electric range, cutting-edge tech, and a plush interior that feels like a VIP lounge but on 4 wheels. It even handles surprisingly well for a vehicle of its size. But none of that matters when the first thing people notice is the face. And then there's the wonderful price tag that comes with it. Luxury EV buyers have no shortage of options these days, and the iX competes with heavy hitters like the Tesla Model X and Rivian R1S. If you're going to drop 6 figures on an electric SUV, wouldn't you want something that doesn't make people ask, what in the world is that? 1. Dodge Charger, muscle car misstep. The Dodge Charger's roaring engines and bold trims can't mask its problems. With 8,000 unsold units and EVs stealing the spotlight, this muscle car is losing its edge. Priced from $40K, it appeals to enthusiasts, but misses practical buyers who prefer efficiency. Dodge's half-hearted hybrid strategy leaves the Charger stuck in neutral, outpaced by rivals like Tesla. Even legends need to adapt, and the Charger's reluctance to evolve might just be its undoing. Which of these would you prefer or not prefer at all? Like and share if you enjoyed this desperate sales pitch extravaganza. And if you're curious about which cars are actually worth your hard-earned cash, check out our other video where we reveal the legendary cars that can easily hit 200,000 miles. You won't want to miss it. Subscribe for more.